Now we're going to talk about different types of saws. The most common saw for a carpenter is the hand saw or panel saw, what it used to be known as. Years ago, joiners would carry 3 different types of saws and they would sharpen them at the end of the week, but now we just have one saw, which is like a combination of all 3. It's got quite big teeth on it for cutting big sections of timber. You can cut sheet material with it, cut plasterboard, MDF, chipboard, various different types of material. And you'll find all of the teeth are hardened on the edge so that the sharpness lasts a bit longer. And when you finish with this type of saw, basically it's just disposed of into a sharps box and it's replaced with a new one. So when a joiner's finished with it, he just puts it to one side and buys a new saw. Years ago, the joiner used to, at the end of each week, used to have to get a saw file and sharpen his saw, but that's not done now. It's basically we live in a disposable world at the minute. And the saws just gets disposed of and recycled, and we buy a new one. Next one is the tenon saw. Very similar teeth to the hand saw, but as you can see, the teeth on the tenon saw, they're a lot smaller and a lot closer together than what they are on the hand saw. So you can get a lot finer cut with a tenon saw. You'll find the blade on a tenon saw is sturdy, because you can see the hand saw that can be moved around, but the tenon saw is solid. So you can see you can get a lot more finer cut and a lot more accurate with a tenon saw. But you'll find, because it's got a ridge section through the top, it's a lot more sturdy. Plus it means you can only cut sort of sections of timber about this deep. Next one is the coping saw, and basically the coping saw is a bit like a hacksaw, but it's got a very fine blade. And what you use with a coping saw is if you've got curves to cut, or if you're cutting a scribe around a piece of skirting board, you use a coping saw. So that cuts to different angles, different bevels and different curves. What you can do is you can slacken the handle off and you can turn the blade around. So for instance, if you're cutting out a section for a pipe box and you want to cut out a notch for a pipe, you'd use the coping saw to cut around for the pipe. Very handy tool, that. So that's the different saws used in carpentry. Next one, this is what very common tool for carpenters. You'll find a site carpenter has a claw hammer. Most site carpenters, they have a tool belt with a pouch in the front, and they have what you call a frog on the side, and they'll drop the hammer into the side, and they'll carry the hammer around with them all the time, because basically when they're using the hammer, they use it for knocking in nails, pulling out nails, they use it with chisel work, knocking frames over, loads and loads of different things. The reason, when you're using a hammer, basically they're using for knocking in nails. So when the nail's in, the reason why the hammer has a claw on the side, so the claw is used to take a nail out. So it's used for putting nails in and taking them out, and loads of other different things. Next one is the wooden mallet. This is more so for a joiner in a workshop would use a wooden mallet. And the main purpose for a wooden mallet is for using it with the chisel. Now, as you can see, the head on the mallet compared to the head of a hammer is a lot bigger. So you use the wooden mallet for hitting the chisel with, because if you're using the hammer, you would slip off and hit your hand. So using the mallet, you've got a lot less chance of hitting your hand. Also, you can do some damage by using the hammer with the chisel.